hiya, hello, how are ya? Live from St. Cloud. It's Wednesday night. Good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? Apologize for my usual viewers. We had no Monday morning live stream. That camera is not working. Um, I usually sit down anywhere. If I'm feeling confident, I might sit down maybe 5-10 minutes before my live stream to make sure everything's up and running. And I spent about 10 minutes just frantically trying to get this set up to work, and it didn't work. And then I couldn't tell if my audio was working or not because the monitor and the headphones and nothing was working. And turned out everything had to be turned off, turned back on again, uninstalled, and reinstalled. And here we are, back at it here, the 19th of May. How about that? Um, you know, I think we should be hitting the water sooner than later. I'm going to have to do some coordinating, see about getting some Project Healing Waters uh, outings out onto the water. We may not be able to meet indoors for fly tying on our regularly scheduled Wednesday nights. Even if we continue on a Wednesday night deal, it might be a different night at this point. But I don't see why it would be any different than what we've done in the past because that's what's worked for who we had when we had it. And, things after the pandemic, well, just before the pandemic, I mean, man, we were just talking about growing this program. But here we are. I'm going to be tying, what did I call this? Black and purple, purple and black and purple streamer. I almost kind of want to call it the black and purple, not a bugger. So, nab, not a bugger. Anyways, it's kind of a generic fly. I was inspired by a little fly that I fished with this last weekend that I dubbed Brad's Purple Wonder. Although it really didn't even have much actual purple in it. It was the iridescence of the polar UV whatever magic that was encapsulated within that wonderful little fly. Anyways, just kind of daydreaming off of that, I came up with this, and we're going to share it with you tonight. And if you're inspired to come up with a name for it, I'm open for suggestions. But I'm leaning towards the black and purple, not a bugger, because I tied a couple of these up experimenting earlier today, and it's what I came up with, and that's what fly tying is all about. Ever evolving, ever changing, letting your imagination be your only limitation. So, welcome everybody for another Wednesday night edition Project Healing Water special. So, let's go ahead, spin myself around. Although I do all this effort to make sure this camera right there, uh, is a good angle, good lighting. The background, I thought about like some kind of green screen or whatever, but the bench is the bench. It's my sanctuary. This is where I study, it's where I learn, it's where I meditate, it's where we create art. I think there might be something out there called the purple nurple, but let's go ahead and tie. I had the wrong thing on. Oops. Anyways, I had it set for the morning coffee. The only difference on the screen is what it says on the bottom on the scrolling portion. Welcome, Steve. We are back at it once again. All right, lights, camera, action. All right, so being a streamer, We're going to go with a streamer hook. I'm going to be using some barbless hooks tonight. I tied one. Now size-wise, proportionately sized. These are basically the exact same hooks. Um, you lay them down right next to each other. So we've got the mustad size 6, and then we have these moonlets. And it's just a product code and product code. And how do you compare them all? Well, some might have some charts out there. And somebody's size 6 might not be so much like somebody else's size 6. And there's different bends and gaps and da 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 da. So, I wanted to do it like this first. So, if you see me putting a hook on like this, you know what's next, right? We are going to be putting on a bead. And I'm going to be using a black bead. This is a black tungsten bead. Any guessers as to what size this is? It's a 3.8 millimeter. This is actually, I have this kind of roughly sized out more or less for an 8 to 10, but I only have one 4.6, and I rolled the dice and I threw one on here, and I think it works. It doesn't slide off or anything, so that's our main concern. So we got our size 6 hook. We have our 3.8 millimeter black tungsten bead. Let your imagination be your only limitation. I'm using a 10-aught purple. Sticking with the purple thread for this one. But first I want to add a little bit more weight to this fly, because we're going to drop this bad boy down to the bottom. We're going to use 0.025 lead-free wire, aka diet wire. So about after 5 strands, I got this little tag end. You see, some people, they might just cut it off, but it's kind of works like a little ratcheting system right now. And we can just use this to help us roll that over. Use this to help you with that. So that's about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That'll do us. Twist that diet wire right off, and we're going to jam that right up behind that bead. So far we're doing pretty good. Seems like a pretty good in general streamer. Hey, awesome story. So evening last year, 1 year ago, caught his first fish on a fly rod that he tied. Awesome, you betcha. Well, thanks for tuning in and smashing that thumbs up. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with our thread. Right behind that diet wire, 0.025 lead free. Alright, we're going to build a little dam back there, and then we can just wrap right over that wire. And that is going to be a-okay, good enough for me. Alright, at this time, let's go ahead and add another wire. And where did I put it? Right here. This is just a fine silver wire, 13/100ths, they say. This is like the spool of thread of wire, fine silver wire that'll never end. Work this towards the rear, right to the bend. And I like to keep it on the near side of the hook. Right, set that out of the way. Alright, now let's find material for our tail. And part of my reason I'm leaning towards a not a bugger. You guys will see what I came up with here. Let's grab a little black marabou. This isn't the best of marabou. Wish the tips of it were a little bit better, but we're going to full send it. We're going to measure this out about 1 hook's length. Just like so. We'll set that right on the back side. We'll do a few locking wraps. And we'll run our thread right back to midpoint on that hook right behind our wire. We're going to take our marabou. We're going to wrap this around there. Maybe 1, 2, 3 times or so. Right until we get to our thread, right to where that wire is. And we're going to lock this off. So, actually, the underbody is half lead-free wire, half marabou. Not too shabby. Alright, let's take our thread back to that bend in the hook. And I decided some crystal flashes do for this recipe. You're not going to find this on any shelves, not available in all stores. We came up with this kind of this afternoon, inspired off of another fly. We're going to multiply by dividing, fold that crystal flash in half, and give it a cut right at the loop. Alright, 2 strands. I'm going to tie on the near side. Hold it right there and just grab the whole thing, the whole tail. And we can just do a couple locking wraps. We'll run our thread forward just a little bit. And then we'll fold over. What's going on there? Lost my grip. And then we'll trim those just a tick longer than the tail. Just want that that crystal flash just to tickle past the tail. Good evening, Mr. Coleman. How are you? How's the water? Have you hit the water yet? I'm anxious for a fishing report from the Fish Whisperer. Looking at the flow charts, that's a good thing to keep an eye on, is the flow charts. And you know, if you've never been in the water at a certain stage or seen what the water looks like at a certain stage, you know, it's what might be good for somebody is not necessarily good for somebody else as far as flow rates. So, you know, if I say I like 5,000 and well, you know, somebody else is a little bit younger, a little bit stronger, can fight the current a little bit more, they might like, oh, you know, 6,000. You know, that's my cutoff, and it's kind of a cutoff point for me. It's just like at a certain point, you don't want to get in and wade. You know, at a certain point, you don't even want to get in and float. All right, so I just added a little bit of wax to my thread because for the body, I have it's kind of a purplish, blackish ice dub. No label, so unfortunately there's no sticker on this. But it's nice and wiry, so we'll see what happens. Take a small little pinch, and this is going to be, we're going to do the whole body. We're going to do a pretty substantial sized dubbing noodle on this, because we're going to end up, what we want to do is we want to end up picking a lot of this kind of back out. So we'll do our dubbing noodle, just keep twisting, twist and shout, twist and shout. And this is a size 6 hook, so I have to use a good quantity, nice lengthy quantity. So we're going to build this up a little bit. Think of this almost as a chenille. And we're going to just do nice tight wraps. And we're going to do a nice even body, working our way up from the rear to the front. And back up just a little bit. And I'm going to send it right there. Alright, now, before I take my wire forward, I'm going to pick this out just a little bit. I don't want to pick it all the way off. I just want to kind of get it started. Alright, let's take our wire. I'm going to do one wrap. I'm going to lift up the tail. I'm going to do one nice tight wrap underneath there. And then one wrap right at the rear. So that's where we get our black, and we're going to get our little purple color. But we're going to run this ribbon from nice open spiral, working our way from the back to front. And I'm trying to not muck up the fibers right up to that bead head. Secure this. And we're going to go ahead and give this a little trim. Alright, so I think that in itself is a pretty hot looking fly. But we're going to pick this out just a little bit more. Don't let your thread bop around too much. Alright, so I think that in itself is a pretty ace fly. So I wanted to add a cool little collar to here. And for this, look at this beautiful, this is a ring neck rump hackle. And I think it just looks absolutely beautiful, these feathers. So we're going to pluck one. I don't know if you guys can really pick up on the iridescence of that, but there's some iridescence right at the end of the tip. So let's go ahead and find where the fluffy fuzz is, the downs. I'm going to carefully strip those back and out. Same on this side. Because we're going to tie this in by the tip. Carefully fold the rest of those back. We'll work our way down because these are some good fibers. Beautiful. Alright, so top side up, tying it in by the tip right where that little V is. it or not. There's just enough stem. And I think I might just leave that in there for now. I might end up having to trim that off, but I think if I can just disguise it in there and get a couple extra hackle fibers, I'm going to send it. So you see what we have locked up in the vise under our thread. Synchronize your watches. It's hackle time. So we're only going to get a few wraps until we run out of feather. And I think we run out right about there. So we'll secure that. And trim off the remainder of that stem. Is it a stem or is it a quill? Now, this is just big and poofy. This is going to fold all the way back. But I'm not trying to wrap and pinch all this down. I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to take a couple of wraps right behind the bead head. And we'll finish this with a 1, 2, 3 whip finish. And we anticipate a good amount of fish on this one, so we're going to add a little dab of gluia, a little bit of insurance policy, liquid insurance. And you know what I'm talking about if I can find it. It's hard to see because it's clear. I'm glad the cap was on because it was sideways. But we're going to add some of the secret sauce, some Sally Hansen's. And just a dab on the thread. That's what I'm interested in. I like it. Just a basic kind of black and purple streamer. Could be like a leech almost, if you didn't have the front little collar on there. You know, this was that tip. We're going to get rid of it. I don't know. If fish like purple, I think they're going to, if they like purple, they're going to love this fly. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? So Dave says, catching has been awesome. Water temp has been about 68. River flow has been very low for this time of year. Yeah. I think after this weekend, I'm going to be ready to jump out into the mighty miss as well. Questions, comments, concerns about the fly? What do you think? What would we change? I kind of like it. I kind of like it as is. I don't think it really needs much more. I like the idea of fairly basic and simple, uncomplicated patterns. And it's just a marabou, dubbing, flash, and a hackle. So I foresee myself smashing a nice largemouth, or not a largemouth, but a good size smallie on this one. I think so. I think so. It's a size 6 with a little bit of extra weight, so I really want to get this down. Usually, I don't know. I think that's been one of my hang-ups lately is just not getting my flies down to where the fish are. You know, it's just these nice synthetic whatever streamers and junk. Well, even a full sink line, uh, even a full sink line is not quite enough to get you all the way down. And I find myself, especially when I'm, well, I don't know, most cases than not, when I'm fishing subsurface, um, I give myself a count. Um, when I first hit the water, I'll, you know, hit an area, and then, if they're not catching right away, well, maybe I'll give it a few extra more seconds. And until you start dredging the bottom, I don't know. I mean, I think you might be missing some potential. All right, let's take a closer look at this. Usually that works out a little bit better if I can get a closer up on the camera. So plenty of body in there. And I'm thinking that with the marabou wrapped around where the diet wire left off, it's going to want to maybe help lift that back end up a little bit. And then when it twitches, I don't know, we'll see. It's only one way to find out, right? And that's to get it wet and in the water. Because this is an untested fly. We don't know exactly how it's going to fish, but I guarantee you it'll catch a fish. It always has my Aaron's standard uh, guarantee. All my flies that I tie and all my flies that I teach to tie, and even if I don't teach it, if you've just learned it somewhere, anywhere, it's guaranteed to catch a fish. It just has to be in front of the right fish, the right time of day, and the right water. Sometimes the right moon phase. That helps. But let's take our size 6 streamer hook. This is a Moonlit. It's made by Moonlit. The number is ML054, size 6. That's a big old nymph or a streamer hook. And what is that equivalent to with a mustad? I've discovered it's close to a R73, 96, 71. So for you mustad people, these are pretty darn close. Except one has no barb. No barb. Who has some rhubarb, huh? Bebop or rhubarb or rhubarb pie? My rhubarb is coming in pretty darn good. Let's get our bead on. Bead is a 3.8. 3.8 millimeter black tungsten bead. A little bit smaller than what I kind of have guesstimated, but this other bead I think was just, I don't know, it's a little bit too big. Maybe it would have been better, maybe for a size 4, I don't know. But I guess that's why we're adding a little bit of diet wire. Diet wire, aka won't kill you wire, aka lead-free wire. 0.025. Give it a little pinch at the back end. We'll start our wraps. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, let's compress that back one down all the way. There we go. So we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Say it in your own head. Let's go ahead and get that tucked in right into that bead. We always want to make sure when we put on our bead heads, make sure that we have the wide opening towards the rear. You want the smaller opening towards the eye of the hook. I'm not sure what the suggestion is. Use the purple after the feather if there is one tie-in after the rump feather. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Alright, let's start with our purple thread. And it's the only purple thread I have is this 10-aught. I suppose if I wanted to be picky about it, in an ideal world I would have a slightly beefier thread, but this is a Vivus and it's pretty stout. They're not stout, but pretty strong, durable. Build a little dam at the back end, a little ramp, and then we'll lock in our diet wire. Unleaded. That'll work. Let's find our silver wire. This is a 13 100ths. Very fine. Old wire. Look at that. I like it. This is some cool stuff. I don't think this is the date of the wire. I don't think so. I think maybe all their hooks say all the herders think say 1884. Now I gotta find a herders. I'm too curious. I don't know. Let's tie in our fine silver wire. Sorry, I got distracted, squirrel. We'll lock in our wire and we'll work our way towards the rear. Right to the bend. Oh yeah, that's what we're using is the rump for our neck. Ring neck rump. Some purple in the tail. Okay, I got an idea. I've got an idea for the tail. Let's add we'll tie in our marabou. And we'll save the crystal flash for another project. Alright, we'll measure out our tail a hook's length, thereabouts. Wrap that around the shank a couple of times. Forward, wrapping forward. That feels pretty good. Alright. Now look at this. This is some ice wing. Ice wing fiber, icy fuchsia. And this is basically like a super fine flash. So we're gonna grab a little pinch. And we're gonna put that in the tail. Alright, so we got that. Just a hint in there. Maybe we should stick with the crystal flash too. Yeah, we'll just send it like that. Yeah, you know what? We're going to do the crystal flash in there too. I'm not going to get stingy with it. Don't get stingy, Aaron. We've got crystal flash here. Might as well use it. But I will multiply by dividing. One piece shall become two. And we'll put two strands on either side. I'll goop-a-gop this up with some dubbing wax. This is a low tack. Do it in 3D. Whoa. Alright, and then at this point, this is kind of a bluish. I wish I had a label for this. This is one of those materials that's like, man, I wish I still had a label for this. So I'll grab a small pinch, but we're going to stretch this out quite a ways. It's going to be a nice long dubbing noodle. Pinch and twist, pinch and twist. Pretend it's an itch you're not supposed to scratch, and pinch and twist. We don't want it to get too matted down, because it's going to get captured with that wire. But you do want to make sure it's nice and tight. I think that'll hold. Alright, here goes nothing. Let's do one wrap. I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to go right underneath that tail. We'll advance our ribbing forward. Nice and tight. Nice good amount of pressure. Tension is key. Just as it is when we're in the water fishing, as it is when we're sitting on the bench tying the flies. Slack is evil. If you can prove me wrong, tell me where slack is good when we're on the water. I don't know, maybe some slack water. That's about the only kind of good slack there is, some slack waters. We're going to use our fancy tool here. Some good old Velcro. Don't forget to tickle the belly. So you got to have options, right? We got the nice handled, easy grip, easy to use. But we can't quite get that all the way under the belly, so we'll get the limbo lowrider profile in there. I think that'll work. All right, let's grab our hackle. And again, this is a ring neck rump hackle. Maybe we could put some of that in the back. I think we're going to give that a try on our next one. Maybe we could do that collar twice. We'll see. Oh boy, we're going to see. That's the beauty is I left the title to this video, this tonight's lesson, kind of vague. You know, it is what it is. I haven't lied to anybody yet. It's a black and purple streamer. How it's actually going to end up, who knows? The first one I tied, I didn't even have wire in it. And then I was like, you know what? I really like this, but I think maybe we need to add some wire. So let's carefully fold these fibers back. This is a good size one. I like it. Tie this in by the tip. Top side up, tip forward. We want the underside of the fly to be towards the inside. We're going to trim this excess off. You're out of here. Who knows what that means? Fold the fibers back, the barbules. Ooh, this is such a beautiful fly. Big oversized hackle up front. I like this. When this gets into the water, she is going to swim. We're going to leave that right there at that. Bada boom, bada bing. A few locking wraps. Here's another thing. I don't know if you guys ever catch on to this. Use your thumb to balance your scissors or to help you position. Because you got it. You got your thumb there. Might as well use it, right? Well, if you got it. If you got a thumb, use it. If you don't, well, you got it anyways. Whip finish. And I think this will get a little dab of glue. Yeah, there it is. A little bit of liquid insurance possibly. But before I do that, I want to just kind of carefully brush this back. Just in case there's a couple in there that just didn't want to open up. And if I goop on Miss Hansen here, we'll end up brushing it back into those fibers. We don't necessarily want that. A little dab of glue, yeah. And by golly, I think that's ready for a bass. Okay, so our next one, we're gonna maybe replace the purple with just some more. We'll do a wrap of this back there, so it'll be this and that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I think we're getting towards something gooder. But I am gonna spin around for just a minute. Lean back. See, how's it going? How's it going, everybody? Let's play a game called Ask a Question in the Chat. We got 6 of us watching, maybe thereabouts. If you've got the computer in front of you, ask me a good random question, and I'll give you a good random answer. If I know it, I know it. If not, we'll see about pointing you at least into the right or wrong direction. I don't know. You tell me. Oofta. Feels good to just sit back sometimes. I catch myself really getting into fly tying, and you have to, as good as it is for your mentality mentally to sit down and grind out a whole bunch of flies. Don't forget to take care of yourself physically from time to time. If you have to stand up and stretch or just roll your shoulders back, do what you got to do. It's all about I don't know, the longevity of it. I want to be able to. I still want to be able to tie my own flies when I'm 80, 90. I'm gonna be that old. I'm gonna be that old timer with a lot of old stuff. How is the veggie garden going? Our we've haven't put too much in yet. We were thinking about putting in some lettuce, some lettuce, soon, and we're our it just comes back every year. Is our rhubarb's coming up pretty good? I'd say the one stock is, I don't know, getting pretty good. And then our chives. I don't know if they're chives or green onions. I think they're chives. Uh, you hit them with the weed whacker, edger. Um, it really it's kind of fragrant. Did I get my yak yet? Oh, Dave. Oh, Dave. I wish. I wish. I wish. I wish. Apparently, there was another boat in front of me and a trailer that were in the queue, in the line in front of me. So I wait. I wait. But we did get out there. Oh, I'll fill everybody in on the driftless. Pink squirrel, not having it. Pink squirrel was a no go. Did not like the gold bead head, nor did they like the black bead head. Um, and that was it for that. Um, caught a lot of trout on my tenkara flies. Just the kind of spider, almost spider imitate-ish. Um, but definitely some good luck on the. I called it the Brad's Purple Wonder. Landed. I don't know. I think it was an 18 to 20 inch trout. It was a good. It was definitely my largest rainbow trout ever. And then plenty of brown trout and other good sized rainbow trout. It was a good time. Good time. So, boy, I spin around and start talking. Everybody bails. You guys don't want to see me talk. I guess we're down to three of us now. But, oh, back up to 5. I watched the counter right there. 5. It says there's five viewers watching. Hello, all 5. Thank you for watching. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple more. We're going to continue on. We do this each and every week, 6 o'clock to about 8 o'clock, Wednesday nights. So let's continue on. Let's switch the camera back over, back to the bench. Well, if you think the tenkara flies are fun to tie, wait till you start fishing them. All right, let's go ahead and set this one off to the side. And find our hooks. Size 6, moonlit. That's barbless hook. I like these barbless hooks. Any barbless hooks. Ugh. Barbed hooks. Blech. I don't know. Not a fan of them. Not in my world. I don't know. I think if you have been in the fly fishing game long enough, and if it's grabbed enough of your soul, you know, you look at a Rapala with all those treble hooks dangling off it, you're like, oh man. It's like, if you can't catch a fish with that, I don't know. I really don't. Black tungsten beadhead, thrice 0.8 millimeters. We'll grab some of this diet wire, some lead-free, 0.025. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps or so, and we can dress and clean up that back end. There we go. I like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. All right, mash that down, and that would go right into the back end of that bead. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. We'll start our thread right behind our wire. Build up a small little ramp, a dam, a hill, an edge. Then we'll lock our wire down. Beautiful. We'll come in with some fine, oh so fine silver wire. I wonder how much more is actually on the spool. Tie this in on the near side of the hook, work our way front to back, all the way to the bend. I think that'll do us just fine. Alright, let's tie in our tail. We're using a black marabou. And this isn't the greatest of quality of marabous. Not a super big fan of this stuff. But it shall be used. Go out a hook's length. Oh boy, nice and easy. Don't nick that tip of that hook. Let's take a wrap or two right up to where our wire meets. And that just kind of helped even out the body, I think. Alright, so that's going to be like tail part 1. I'm going to do our crystal flash first. Some good old pearl crystal flash. Pearl, kind of like squirrel. One strand is all we need because we're going to multiply by division. It's amazing how that all works out, right? Math and stuff. Two pieces. Right on the near side. Wrap forward a little bit. Then we can fold it over, capture it, and we'll make it nice and even. I think that'll work. Alright, we're going to add some of this in there too. So for this, let's just go ahead trim off the base, and then I'll do the high and tight. Rest the scissors and just do a little notch on either side. Going for just the tip. Alright, let's see if we don't do any damage here. Nice and easy around the hook. I think that's it. Not going to get much more out of that anyways. Alright, this is where Mr. Bodkin comes in nice and handy. We'll get these unstuck. Just make sure we swoop that all back. Now it's almost like a little collar for our tail. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit better. And then we can add a little dab of wax. We'll wax our line in 3D. Alright, and the dubbing, I wish I had a label, but it's an ice dub of sorts. Kind of a bluish, purplish ice dub. Grab a small little section of that, and we'll start our dubbing noodle. We're going to go for a nice lengthy dubbing noodle, but you still don't want it to be too thick. This will be enough to get it started. take your time with your dubbing noodles. I mean, it's never a race. But having just a little bit of moisture on your fingertips definitely can help, or it can also hinder. So you buyer beware. And if we get just a little bit more of a bump right back here, that's a-okay, because that's gonna kind of help push up that collar a little bit. So we're gonna lightly tease this or not this hackle, this oh, what do we call this? Dubbing. Tease it out just a little bit, and then we'll run our wire through it oh so carefully. And since I got this fun little collar here, I'm not going to be able to do my wrap right behind and underneath all this, so we'll just do one full wrap right there on top of everything. We'll ring our ribbing forward. Nice and tight. So I didn't really notice it until my neighbor said something, but their pool is out of order right now, and they accidentally had just a little bit of water left at the bottom, and the frogs have moved in, and boy have they gotten loud. Sounds like we're parked next to a swamp, but we're not. Alright, we'll go ahead and brush this out again a little bit more vigorously. I like this purple tail. I like the addition of the collar into the tail. I'm not sure how long that would last on there if it weren't for that silver wire. So that's why I really liked adding that in. Like I said, looking at this as is, I think this is a pretty groovy fly as it sits. But I really like having this collar up there just kind of wrapping around everything, giving it a nice little hug. Beautiful feather, I think. So this will strip it down right to the edge. Now we got just that fun little tip. Maybe a couple more. Now this quill up here is actually a little bit tougher than not. Couple locking wraps. And now you know what time it is, right? In fact, I don't even need the hackle pliers. We got this nice big stem. All right, let's go ahead and trim off our excess. Good stuff. And finish this off with a nice quality whip finish. And we can finally trim off the thread. I like this. I think this is our final golden ticket here. Let's add a little bit of insurance policy on this one. What do you say? A little dab of Gluya, little dab of the secret sauce. Brought to you by Sally Hansen's Advanced Hard as Nails. And how? I think that's it. I like having that little dab in there. All right, so we're going to do one more and then we're going to call it. We're going to call it a night. My back is getting kind of stiff. And we're maybe one, two, I think this is number 3 for us tonight. But it's really nice, cool looking at the iterations. But yeah, having that little bit in the back, a little bit of purple. Wasn't too much of a fan of this ripple. It's not even a ripple, it's just an ice wing. Wonder what could we do with this? Hmm. Alright, let's knock out one more. And then I'm going to call it an early night. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals for tuning in. Sometimes I don't realize when I'm done with these live streams, it's like, holy smokes. You know, you think of a length of a movie, it's like, wow, this is a 2-hour fly tying movie. And it's just the same boring voice week after week, telling the same corny jokes. But that's what we're all about here, right? Having fun, tying flies. Time flies when you tie flies. Size 6 hook, 3.8 millimeter black tungsten bead, and some .025 lead-free, aka diet wire. I like to throw a lucky number of wraps in there. Works out just right. Takes us just forward of the tip of the hook, looking proportionately. You know, I think that's a good, just a little bit, just a little bit forward. Plus we got that tungsten bead in there. So I think it should swim pretty darn nice. Need to take a slurp of coffee. Hold on. Alright, so let's do it. I've been drinking this local coffee company called Kinder Coffee. I think it's Kinder Coffee Labs, Kinder Coffee Company. Without having their thing in front of me, I don't have it necessarily committed to my memory. Actually, I got a sticker, but it doesn't have their name on it. Dang. Anyways, some really good stuff. All their brews are named after local St. Cloud areas, and I think I'm drinking I think it's a Munsinger dark brew, named after Munsinger Gardens, which is named after somebody named Munsinger. But let's take our purple thread. We'll build a little ramp right behind our wire. Alright, let's lock this in once our little ramp is caught up. And then we can come in. Ooh, you know what I'm going to do? Just to change things up, instead of our fine silver wire, I'm going to use a small red. Bum, bum, bum. Can we do that? Is that allowed? Absolutely. Surprised I didn't try this earlier. Because now we added, I think, a fish's second favorite color, some red. Like adding little touches of red in there when you can, right? Gosh, this marabou's tough to work with. Not the greatest of quality, but it's a case of we're still going to send it. About a hook's length. Couple locking wraps. And we'll bring her forward with a couple of wraps. And this will just help us have a nice even body. Alright, well, let's add our crystal flash, pearl, make our one strand of pearl crystal flash, and we'll turn it into two. Half the length though. We'll go on the near side, and we'll take it on the far side. Thereabouts. Gotta remember what this is all gonna look like when it's swimming in the water. Just add water. That's one of my hashtags I like to use. Or comments. I like commenting on people's flies with that. Just add water. Because that's what it looks like. That's all it needs. Only thing that bad boy needs, just some water. Alright, we'll find that transition point because we want to use these fibers. We don't necessarily want these. Little notch. Oh, here it goes. Alright, let's give this a try. We'll give it a bell for the back end, and then we'll do another one for the front. Oh, I don't know if I got it. Oh, I don't know if I got it. I think I got it. Oh, it went dink. I almost had to swear. Alright, I think that's good enough to get us to add some dub. A little bit of purple in the back end. And let's get our dub on. A little touch of wax. And my blue ice dub. Bluish purplish. To me this looks purple. There's definitely purplish hue. There's definitely bluish hue in there. Maybe almost even a little bit of green. A little aquamarine green. I don't know. I see purple when I see this. But let's go ahead and get our dub on. Pinch and twist, pinch and twist. I think that's enough to get us started. I had it all just the right amount of dubbing on there. It just all wasn't twisted. Go a little heavy right there. That's going to kind of help prop open that hackle, I think. I'm going to pick this out just a little bit, not too bananas. Because it's just our thread in there. It doesn't have that tough edge of the wire to help protect it. I'll protect you, said the wire. Alright. Let's see about wrapping this forward. Alright. digging it. I think a little red wire was a nice little bonus to throw in there. We were chugging along with that fine silver, but then you chuck a little red wire in there and kind of adds a little something to it. And I'll bring it in for a close-up once this is all. All right, let's get our hackle for up front. I think that'll do it. Oh, this feather mostly broke. Oh no. All right, well, we got hackle pliers for that, I suppose. Fold those back, and then we'll tie this in. All right, hopefully our hackle pliers will be able to hang on. If we can find our hackle pliers, there they are. Nice big webby fibers here. I like this. Ooh la la. It is like super huge, super big, super oversized. But I think I like it. You know, we got to keep things. Normally, we want to keep things proportionate to itself, but I think somehow, some way, I think this works. And a big old size 6 hook. There we go. All right. All right, some Sally Hansen's, some secret sauce, hard as nails. There's a little dab right on the tip of the bodkin. And we are going to be okay. A thirsty thread will just soak that up. All right, let's take a closer look. So the little hint of red wire in there, I think, is just going to smash it. The crystal flash, little marabou tail, just add water, I think. I like it. I like it, but we're going to call it an early night. My back is a little stiff, and I think we gotta. I think everybody's picking up what I was putting down here with this pattern. Just a purple and black streamer. I think. Well, I believe it's a UV ice, UV purple bluish UV ice dub. It doesn't have a label, but yeah, I would say this definitely has some iridescent properties to it. I don't know. I should find a fly. Maybe we'll use this next week. We'll find out what this ice wing is all about and how we can apply that. I got some purple or some icy fuchsia and hot orange. Maybe we'll find out something to do with this hot orange. Um, but yeah. Anywho, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for lasting this long, sticking with it. I'm gonna try this in all black. Yeah, send it. Absolutely send it. I think it's a good way to just keep moving forward. Take an idea and run. So, well, I think we're gonna leave it at that. Yep, for sure. You betcha. All right. Thank you all for watching. Please, everybody, stay healthy, stay safe. Happy tying. Tie lines. Peace.